Hello. The crippling heat, which has held much of Central and Southern Europe in its grip through the last week, is now beginning to ease. This area of low pressure diving south across Scandinavia is pulling cooler air in behind it on a northwesterly wind. It's also feeding quite a bit of cloud south into Europe. We do still, though, continue with heatwave conditions across the Canaries for the short term. And there is still plenty of heat across Southern Europe. It's just not at those crippling levels that we were talking about last week. But sunshine and temperatures in the 30s across Greece, Turkey, many parts of the Balkans. Could see some heavier showers, though, as this weather front trails down into the Balkans and southern Italy on Wednesday. Localised, but potentially some intense downpours. Looking fine, though, across Iberia, whereas much more cloud spilling in to France across the Low Countries and getting down towards the Alpine region. So consequently, some cooler weather on the way here. Often very windy for the Baltic states as that area of low pressure drifts its way further eastwards. A lot of sunshine in our outlook across the Mediterranean. No great surprises there. We're just keeping an eye on temperatures because they could creep up a little bit once again, particularly for the likes of Spain and Portugal, whereas it's looking quite cool across northern Europe, but a little more settled in the days ahead. Hello. Tropical storm Fred made landfall into the Florida panhandle on Monday. We are now seeing it weakening away and slowly pushing northwards, even as an area of low pressure still holds a lot of moisture. There's a lot of rain to come across Georgia and parts of the Carolinas in the next 24 hours. The whole thing will then tend to shift through towards the mid-Atlantic for midweek. Continuing with some heavy showers across parts of Texas through into southern Arizona. Across the Great Basin, though, a lot of dry weather and above average temperatures mean the fire risk is critical for a lot of areas here. We're going to see a little bit of rain getting into southern Alberta on Tuesday. British Columbia, I think, largely fine. A little bit more cloud perhaps pushing on to the west coast at times. For Los Angeles, potentially quite a grey day on Wednesday, but it looks like that will begin to lift for the latter part of the week. A little cooler, though, with the breeze off the ocean. Some heavier showers for the northeast of the US, getting into the southeast of Canada too on Tuesday, partly being triggered by the instability around the remnants of Fred, and the remnants of Fred could also trigger some tornadoes as it continues its journey through towards the east coast. So quite an unsettled outlook for many eastern states of the US in the short term. Hello. Yet more wet, windy and wintry weather to come for Chile in the days ahead. We've already seen plenty of that, courtesy of these fronts which have swept through in the last 24 hours, and more awaiting to come in from the South Pacific. But quite a contrast on the other side of the Andes across Patagonia. Some unusually warm and sunny weather in the days ahead. In fact, above average temperatures likely for much of Argentina, Uruguay and Paraguay through the middle part of the week. Still got some heavy showers to contend with for Venezuela and Colombia on Tuesday. Generally quite dry story, though, across Brazil. A little bit of patchy cloud clinging on to some of those coasts there in the east. But in terms of the unsettled weather across Chile, it looks like from Friday onwards there will be something of a break, at least for Santiago, a shift back to something drier, sunnier and a little warmer. Some pretty heavy showers for western Mexico on Tuesday, being thrown up around the fringes of Hurricane Linda, but that is staying offshore. However, Grace has already dropped heavy rain across Haiti and brought a spell of strong winds as a tropical storm. That system now set to track further south than we were looking at this time yesterday, with some strong winds and heavy rain to affect Jamaica, western Cuba. The Yucatan Peninsula could take quite a hit midweek, and then potentially we're looking at a hurricane moving to the west of the Gulf on Saturday. Hello. Time for our check-in on the weather across the African continent and the Middle East. We're looking at some quite cool conditions for South Africa in the next couple of days as we pull in weather fronts from the west, and there'll be some rain around for the Western Cape. The heaviest rain, though, across the continent will focus on West Africa in the next few days. Above average rainfalls likely here. To the northwest, we're still talking about a lot of heat. Morocco and Algeria have both seen exceptional temperatures in recent days. A change in wind direction, though, from midweek onwards should see the temperatures regulating closer to average values. For Cape Town, we'll see the showers clearing for Thursday and then some drier prospects in the days ahead. Marrakesh still seeing temperatures in the high 30s Wednesday and Thursday, but back down to 32 on Friday, again, thanks to a change in wind direction. Across the Middle East, no surprises, a lot of sunshine for Wednesday and also a lot of heat. Just the odd chance of one or two showers as we get to the south of the Red Sea. Onshore winds for Oman could mean below average temperatures here, though, in a few spots in the next few days. Muscat, for example, should sit in the mid-30s at this time of year. In the short term, we're looking at highs of perhaps 30 or 31. Hello. An expansive area of low pressure pushing in from the west of the Bay of Bengal will feed increasingly heavy rain into parts of central and northern India in the days ahead. We'll see some of the heavier downpours, perhaps shifting away from Odisha, but getting across into the likes of Madhya and Maharashtra on Tuesday. Still got a potent monsoon trough sitting to the northeast of India. That will bring some heavier rain into Assam and Meghalaya. You can see that also extends across into Bangladesh as far north as Bhutan and the foothills of the Himalayas across Nepal. Some heat beginning to build again as we look towards the stands in the days ahead. Temperatures have been a few degrees below average here recently. Generally, a lot of fine weather here, also across Pakistan. You can see some showers making their way as far north as New Delhi around the periphery of that area of low pressure on Wednesday. Some fairly frequent downpours feeding in to the Western Ghats. Some heavier showers for western faces of Sri Lanka. And then, as I said earlier, some heavy downpours really focusing to the northeast of India and through into Bangladesh. Temperatures in Tashkent building in the days ahead up to 39 by Saturday. Showers for Kathmandu, for Calcutta, some heavier downpours at times as well, and some rain for Colombo. Hello. Parts of Japan have seen some phenomenal amounts of rain in the last week or so, 3 or 4 times the average for the entire month. And courtesy of an area of low pressure working its way north across the Sea of Japan, there's more to come in the next few days. We're watching this area out in the Pacific quite closely. Potential for a tropical depression to develop here that potentially could become a typhoon later on in the weekend and head towards Taiwan next week, but that's a long way off. This low working its way up the Sea of Japan is far more of a given. 200, 300 millimetres of rain possible on the weather front associated with that system. Plentiful rain still to be found across Malaysia and Singapore in the next few days, and some very heavy downpours to come across parts of southern China and northern Myanmar. For Australia, a big area of high pressure means a lot of fine weather, but it looks like we'll see a little trough coming into play in the southwest that could bring some squally winds and some heavier rain for a time. We're gradually seeing those cool southwesterlies easing off, though, for southeastern Australia on Wednesday. Still some heavier showers around for the North Island of New Zealand, but we lose the front that brought the gales earlier on in the week. Pretty quiet for the South Island on Wednesday, but another weather front will start to work in here as we get into Thursday.